Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We're excited to talk about our investment opportunity for Hiking Buddies, our feature film from Erosion. Erosion is a women-led independent film production company dedicated to increasing the conservation conversation through comedy, film, and TV. I'm Tracy Held, and this is my co-founder, Megan Morrison. We are both graduates of the Carnegie Mellon Dramatic Writing MFA program. We're both award-winning screenwriters, and we're both very experienced independent filmmakers. And I actually studied conservation and resource studies in undergrad at UC Berkeley. And I've done climate research and raised over $1 million for nonprofits, both in film and theater and also in conservation. Much of it through grants and crowdfunding. And I'm really excited to be partnering with Megan over here.
Yes, thank you, Tracy, for that wonderful intro. Just to add, I have 10 years experience working in business and legal affairs in various studios like Paramount and Disney and Netflix, where I have executed contracts totaling over $200 million. Tracy and I together have produced over 40 short films and YouTube videos, and my short horror film, Dead Color, placed in festivals worldwide.
Pretty impressive. So today we're actually talking about another horror film that Megan has written called Hiking Buddies. Do you want to tell people about that, Megan?
I do. I'm very excited about Hiking Buddies. It's a project that's very near and dear to my heart. I wrote the screenplay after going on a meetup hike with some folks who were not very environmentally conscious, and they were trampling on plants and throwing down their trash. And that made me very angry. So I funneled all of that rage into the script for Hiking Buddies, which is about a hardcore hiker who is very committed to leave no trace principles, pack it out, pack it in, pack it out. And when she goes hiking with people who won't pick up their trash, she murders them. So a bit of a cautionary tale.
Yeah. And by the way, I've shown this script to people, talked about the script with a lot of people. I promise you 100% of the people who've read the script are now terrified of littering on a trail. And so my personal experience is that the script has a 100% conversion rate of getting people to not litter. So just imagine when it's turned into a whole movie and the whole world can see it. So today what we're talking about is how to support this production of Hiking Buddies. We have a goal of raising $1 million to fund this film. And we have two ways that people can invest. One is through regular investment channels. If somebody is an experienced equity investor, they've already invested in projects in the past and they kind of have a machine for doing that, then we would set up separate investment contracts with them. But if you're like us and not an investment machine, then you could actually participate as an investor through our WeFunder crowdfunding campaign. So this is actually a securities crowdfunding platform that allows regular people to participate as investors in our independent film. And we are really excited because today our lead investor for our WeFunder campaign, Sunil, is here to tell us why exactly he thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Sunil Patel. I'm a writer and a horror fan and have a day job that's nothing to do with horror. But in general, I've known Tracy for many years. I don't know how long it's been. It's got to be over a decade at this point, I'm sure.
Yes.
And I've been a fan of her work creatively. I've read some television pilots, some plays and things of hers that I've enjoyed. So even though she didn't write this script, I trust her creative instincts. And I only met Megan recently, but I've really been impressed with her professionalism and her just general sense of humor. So I do believe that Hiking Buddies is going to be it's going to make it for a good movie. Um, for why I'm investing, I think it's honestly just a cool thing to do. About a decade ago, I was a big Veronica Mars fan, and when they were going to make the Veronica Mars movie, they did a Kickstarter. And at that time, I mean, I did the highest tier, the highest perk I could get was 2 tickets to the movie premiere for Veronica Mars movie, and also I know I'd be sort of helping the movie get made, period. And that was $1,000 at the time, which was like a lot of money to throw into a Kickstarter at the time. But it's 10 years later, and I'm more financially secure than I was at that time, and looking for investment opportunities. And when this came up, I thought that it would be a neat idea to sort of invest in a horror movie because I love horror movies and I love movies. And if I could donate $10,000, I get to be in the movie. How could I say no to like being an extra in the woods while this girl's running around stabbing people in this forest or whatever? That's just too good an opportunity to pass up. Especially given that it's not a Kickstarter and and I could actually get my money back. It's not just like giving money away as like a Kickstarter. It's actually an investment. So I could give a lot of money, be in the movie, be a part of its success, and then get my money back. So and possibly even make money. Like this is a win-win for like a horror fan. I would say.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited that we gathered together on these shared values of making movies that are scary and make money back. Awesome. Well, we received a really great list of questions from people who just want to learn more about what we're doing and how it works. So if everybody's ready, we can just hop into the questions. Megan, do you want to say why we're making this movie?
Why we're making Hiking Buddies?
Yeah,
In what context?
just any context. Like we heard about why Sunil is excited about investing in the movie, but why are we excited about making it? And if you're not excited, I can say why I'm excited.
Oh. I'm very excited about making this movie. I'm excited because it's because of all of the reasons that I mentioned earlier about this being a very big, like a passion project for me. But most importantly for me, it's to start the conversation around environmental and climate issues through entertainment. There are so many people watching and enjoying entertainment, and I believe that entertainment is an untapped platform for us to be telling these types of stories. These are stories that people want to hear. This is a topic, issue. There in the hiking world, there's this saying like the mountain will always be there. And I feel like these days that's not as set in stone, literally, as it used to be. I mean, the mountain may not be there. And so I think through this story in particular, where we're talking about trash management, this is becoming a larger and larger issue as we move toward, climate instability. And it's something that we need to be talking about now. And so I'm just really excited to be able to marry entertainment with activism and have people laugh and be scared in the meantime.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also for me, in addition to all the things that you just shared, Megan, and Sunil, I feel like both of you know that I'm not the world's first person to run towards a horror movie. I'm usually like, if there's a line, I'll go to the end of that line. But for me, with this movie in particular, I can just tell that when I talk about it with people, everybody who just hears kind of the log line gets really excited and is like, I need to watch that movie, or I totally relate to that impulse that this protagonist has to like go after people who are littering, this place that everybody values and goes to for respite. So I also really love, because I've a lot of people don't know this, but I've been working on this project even before I was officially Megan's business partner. We were in a writing group for a few years, and I definitely read at least a dozen drafts of the script. And so I know it pretty well. And what I always felt excited about when I read it, not the really scary moments, there's a lot of scary moments, but what excited me was I felt like, okay, people are gonna get how important littering is in the environment when they see this movie, but it's not gonna feel like anybody's yelling at them and like just rattling a bunch of facts at them. It's gonna be visceral. They're gonna feel something when they watch it. Sort of like, I like to compare it to Barbie, and I like to compare it to Get Out, how people love those movies because those movies are great movies, but they also have messages that people want to talk about after. So okay, cool.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's what I love about horror movies too, is that visceral sensation of learning something or feeling something that you may have known like intellectually in your heart. Like everyone knows littering is bad, but something like this can make you feel that littering is bad in a different way that could actually cause you to really think twice about just throwing that can in the forest. Even normally you would probably think, oh, I know littering's bad, but whatever. And then next time you're like, I know littering's bad, but oh crap. I should not do this at all.
Well, when people ask me about what is the goal of this movie, like my goal very simply is the next time someone's on a trail and they think about, you know, their impulse is to throw down their orange peel or their pistachio nuts, that they'll just think twice before they do it.
They won't just think twice. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the questions that people have been asking. It's an investment. People are investing their money. What are the chances that they'll get their money back? Megan, what are your thoughts?
Well, like any other investment, investing in a film is high risk. So there's definitely a risk that you will invest in this film and that you will not make your money back. However, Tracy and I are capitalizing on our expertise and our contacts in the entertainment industry and our networks, and in order to create the best runway that we can so that this film can be successful. And that includes working on a distribution plan that includes a theatrical release domestically and also internationally. Horror films historically do very well overseas, as well as domestically. We're also looking at, on top of that sort of distribution deal, we will also look into distribution deals for streaming platforms like Netflix, Hulu, Apple, etc. And all of this our goal is to have all of this come about, you know, starting with festival screenings and top horror festivals where we can get, distribution studios to get to see our movie. That's sort of the way that horror movies, especially independent, low budget independent horror movies, kind of get their traction. And we already have a few contacts on some horror festivals due to the fact that I've submitted this script around to festivals like the Vail Screenwriting Festival, and also Vancouver Horror Show in British Columbia, and it placed highly as a finalist in those festivals. So we already have made contacts and are on our way to being able to capitalize on those relationships.
Awesome. We also can talk a little bit about the fact that as producers, we have a lot of experience. So we've produced a lot of shorter films. I've worked for a company called Creator Up, where I have directed films and written films for them. We are working with a really great lawyer named Ryan Robinson from Pillsbury, who specializes in entertainment law and is guiding us through this investment process, but also helping us navigate all of our other contracts that we have with people. We last year participated in a startup incubator where we got to learn more about what the responsibilities are for running a business, and also doing things like getting investments and maintaining relationships with investors so that we know how to be responsible partners for our investors. We really want to make sure that people feel like if they're investing in us, we're going to help them feel like they're part of the work that we're doing. So we'll be giving people updates and opportunities to participate in the film at different points. We also attached a really amazing director, Catherine Vondi, who has 20 years of film experience herself. She's currently producing a feature film on the East Coast, and is an award-winning director herself. She also, for me personally, what I really love about Kat being our director on this is that comedy horror is a very tricky tone to understand, and the way that Kat understands how to work with writers and interpret their stories into productions, I think is really effective. And I think that she's a very savvy director and a really smart producer. So as far as a team of people running, a feature film project, I feel like we're a really good personality match, but also our backgrounds are really lending themselves to success. So yeah, and I guess one other thing is we already know that horror films are the most profitable film genre. So if we're asking about what's the chance of making money back on your investment, again, we can't promise anything because it's an investment, it's high risk. But if you look at the kinds of movies that tend to be successful, especially in the independent film space, it's going to be horror films. That's why we're starting with this, because we don't want to take too many risks. We have a question about what are some other films that are like this film. Do you want to talk about that, Megan?
Yeah, so our comps are Cocaine Bear meets Friday the 13th. So if you're familiar with the wacky comedy Cocaine Bear, and then sort of melding that with the classic slasher tropes of the original Friday the 13th. That's the vibe of this movie. As far as independent films, there is like Tracy mentioned, there's a long history of low budget independent films making a splash in the horror space. Those include things like Terrifier, which has done really well, did well as a first film, but then also moving into the franchise with number 2 and number 3, they've made even more money. I think what makes low budget independent horror films so likable to the greater audience is having that charming and compelling main character, whether it's this revengeful woman, or whether it's an insane clown. People who are into horror love to get behind a character that has a mission and has a purpose, even if it is in line with their murderous tendencies. Horror fans can't get enough, and you see this throughout the history of horror with these iconic villains. And what I love about Hiking Buddies is that we have a female villain, and she's definitely someone that people will be endeared to and want to see her adventures as she moves through the film.
Awesome. Do we want to talk about other comps, other independent film comps, or are we?
Yeah, we can talk about other independent film comps. I think one of them that I can kind of see our film being comparable to is something like Barbarian, which started off with a low budget, small independent company called Boulder Light Pictures. And then they were the ones, and they had independent financiers, independent producers, and were able to usher in that movie. And then once the movie found its sort of cult base, it was then picked up by larger distributors. A24 came on, Disney came on, and was able to distribute it to a wider audience. But it was through the the passion and the networks of the independent producers that they were able to get the movie made, and then able to catch the eye of A24. So I think that's a great horror comp. It's also a little unusual, not in the regular sort of plot and narrative structure of a horror. It has a diverse cast. It hits a lot of these elements that we will also have in our film in Hiking Buddies. Also, I think something like the X Pearl Maxine trilogy, even though that was produced by a larger studio, it's still considered an independent film. And this is a female-driven horror franchise that has gotten a lot of publicity and is becoming a cult favorite. And so I think those are, and has been able, with a low budget, has been able to make, with a $1 million budget, has been able to make over $15 million in the theaters, and will continue to make money as it moves forward.
Awesome. Let's talk about how WeFunder works. So the way WeFunder works is very similar to Kickstarter, but there are a few obvious differences. One is, as Sunil mentioned at the very beginning of this conversation, it's not a donation. You're not backing somebody. It's an actual investment. So there are contracts that you need to fill out. And we also want to make sure that people who are investing have the capacity to put in whatever they want to contribute. So right now we're in this phase called testing the waters, which means that we haven't filed our Schedule C yet. And so any reservations that people make on the platform right now you're not committing to investing yet until we raise at least 50,000 on the platform and file the Schedule C. Then everybody who has a reservation right now will have an opportunity to get the final securities contract, review the terms, and then confirm, yes, I'm committing to this. So right now there's 2 steps. We need to raise 50,000 first, and then we'll continue with the rest of our goal. But I actually wondered if, Sunil, you could share your experience having actually filled out all the forms and gone through the process, what it was like for you, and if you have any tips for people.
Yeah, this was definitely my first experience with the WeFunder. It wasn't too difficult to get through. There is some issues with choosing your payments. So there are multiple options for payment, which is actually nice. I think Kickstarter does not offer all these options for payment, but this is investment, and people are going to be moving large amounts of money usually. You can do it through a bank account. You can do it through a wire transfer. You can do it through a credit card. There are different fees for each one. And so I was initially hoping to do a credit card, but then I realized the fees are going to be more. But if you really want to rack up a lot of airline miles with a huge investment, you can in fact charge like $50,000 to this WeFunder. It'd be great. Please do. Because if you're the person who can do that, then you probably don't mind about the fees. And with the bank account, WeFunder has like a WeFunder cash fund. So what you do is you're actually moving money. You're not moving money like from your bank account to Tracy and Megan's pockets. You're moving money from your bank account to the WeFunder cash account. and then WeFunder holds your money, and then that's the money they use to pay out the Megan and Tracy. And because as Tracy mentioned, it's actually an investment. You do sign, like you do, and it's like it's a very digital type of thing. You don't have to print out anything. You just go through and click yes. Actually, for right now, because it's it's the initial stage, I'm just reserving my investment, so I haven't filled out anything because right now I haven't actually paid them. I've been under no obligation. I have the money in the account because essentially that's like it's like a deposit, just to prove that I have the money to invest. So they need to be able to see that I have the money. So the money is now in their account out of my own bank account, but it hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's not actually being invested. So I haven't signed anything. There's no contracts for me apart from my lead investor responsibilities. But as a regular investor, in this stage, there's nothing you have to sign until they get the 50,000, the first 50,000, in which case then that money actually does go to them so they can start using it. And that's the point where we would probably just go in. And again, at this point in this age, it's digital stuff. You just go and either click a box, mouse your signature, Adobe PDF. I haven't got to that stage yet, but I'm assuming it's very simple. I don't anticipate having to print and sign and scan like it's 2008 or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, fairly simple process. It went really quick too. When I was ready to do it, I put in my reservation. It said, "Oh, we're working on your reservation." Like an hour or two later, we're done. Like, great. I thought it was going to take there's no waiting 3 business days to make sure you're done. Like, but I refreshed a couple hours later and it said that my investment was there, and it was great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing that. Thanks for being our lead investor. It's a big deal because having you show your support in this way helps other people feel like maybe they can trust us too.
Yeah.
Another thing that's similar actually about WeFunder and Kickstarter is that we can offer perks, and we are offering perks. So in addition to just being able to invest in our film, we do have perks. And the first level, the first tier of investment is $100. So for some people, that's a really nice dinner. If you have $100, that's the first tier. And we are offering a really great opportunity for people who invest at that tier and beyond. If you are any level of investor, you're going to be invited to pick up trash with us. What other movies are doing that?
True. And you are very entertaining people to be around. So
And because we have family and friends and homes, in various parts of the country, we're planning to do these trash pickups in California, in the Bay Area, but also in LA, in Taos, New Mexico, and in Mississippi. We could be persuaded to go to a place closer to you if that's not on the list so far, depending on, how things work out. So yeah, please check out all the perks. We do have an incentive to raise this first 50 because we want to pay our bills and we want to be able to stay on this production schedule that we have because of how the fire season works and how the rainy season works. And this is a 100% outdoor film. We only could film really in the fall or in the spring. So we're planning to shoot in the spring next year, but we do need to raise the money now so that we can afford to do a lot of prep. There's a lot of production stuff that happens before we ever make it to set. And a weird fact of how film investment works is that if we wanted to get named actors to star in our film, they kind of need to know that we have money to make the film, but people don't always want to give us a lot of money or anybody a lot of money to make a film unless they know that they have named stars attached to the film. So we have this fun chicken and egg situation. So anyway, whatever investment you're comfortable with is helpful for us. Let's keep going through questions. Let's see. So on to that point, what is the difference between investing and donating? So that is a great question that we were sent. If you're donating, you're handing your money over to us. It's a gift, and sometimes it's tax deductible and sometimes it's not. If it's Kickstarter, we would have just received the money. But we actually can accept tax deductible donations through our parent organization, Erosion, because a lot of the work that we're doing is for a public good. So if investment doesn't sound great to you, but donating sounds nice, we can talk about that. This is an investment, so we have all the legal responsibilities of following securities laws, and also there are contracts that you have to sign. If you're donating, you just send us money and it's great. But with investment, we have to go through one of two formal channels. One is through a WeFunder process or through our lawyer with special contracts. You cannot just hand us money. As much as we would appreciate that, if you wanted to invest, we can't take your money like that. Megan, do people need to keep making investments if we want to make this movie?
So ideally, no, like we would, our goal is to garnish enough investments so that we have a lump sum of our budget, which is $1 million. And then we will move forward with the prep for the film and then move into production. So there is no need for people to continue to make investments. Of course, if someone makes a certain amount of an investment and then they're just so excited about what we're doing that they feel the need or feel the desire to make another investment, of course, they are able to do that. However, we will be only collecting investments for a certain amount of time. You know, there is a window that investments will be open. So, you know, it's best to go ahead and invest what you feel passionate about investing in the beginning so that you don't miss out. However, if you would like to split that up into smaller amounts, you are able to. But it is our goal to have the budget in place so that we can move forward with the film and move forward with the confidence that you know, we have the money and we can pass that on to our cast and crew when we hire them, so that we don't have to worry. We can focus on making it the best film as possible and not have to worry about investing and garnishing investments at the same time that we're making the film.
Yeah, and I just want to add something that I don't think would be obvious to a lot of people. When we say our goal is to raise $1 million, we can't raise more than that, because if we raise more than that, then the way that the union contracts that we're working on would work, it would change the rules of what we could do with the money. So we need to stay within the $1 million maximum in order to afford all the things that we're saying we're trying to do. It's a weird and confusing thing, but the moment we go past that 1 million, and it actually is probably a little bit less than $1 million, but the moment that we go past 1 million, we go into a new tier of filmmaking. And then there's a lot more regulations that we have to abide by and a lot more expenses that we have to include. So if you wanted to give us that extra, you wanted to be that $1 million and one investor, like, it's not happening. We just wouldn't accept it because we really can't. So yeah, keep that in mind. Our goal, like I said, is to shoot in the spring. So we would love to raise all that money this calendar year so that we can just focus on production. There's also a fun thing. I am not a securities lawyer, so this is not financial advice. I am told that there's a way that that if you make an investment this year, you can actually deduct any losses because we can't make the movie and make any money back this year on this year's taxes. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just sharing something that I have been told that you can research on your own.
Yeah, we are not lawyers and we are not tax advisors. So that is something, if you're curious about how that might work, about how you might be able to write off your investment, just please talk to your tax professional.
Let's see. Where will this movie be shown, Megan?
Well, Tracy, the goal is to have this movie be shown in theaters all over the United States and all over the world. So domestic and international distribution. We will also be making a distribution deal with streaming platforms. If you are a $50,000 investor, you can get a sneak peek of this film with your private, with a screening with other investors and cast and crew. So that is the first and foremost way that you can watch this film. And then after that, you might have to wait for it to screen in a festival near you, and then eventually in the theaters and on a streaming platform.
No, it's only $5,000 for a private screen.
Oh, $5,000, excuse me.
What
Yeah.
a deal.
What a deal.
Seriously.
I was really surprised that we said it that.
Me too, because I was like, I don't get a private screening? Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I had a glitch in my brain. I added an extra zero. It's $5,000. Yeah.
And just to be super clear, it's not a private screening. It's it's like
other
we're not gonna go
investors.
to Neil, we're not gonna go to your place and like screen it just for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're gonna do something cooler and do a group thing, hopefully. Assuming that, you know.
No, but but
Pandemics.
getting to watch the movie with the cast and crew is a really cool experience. I've had that experience with another movie before and it was amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so somebody actually asked a really great question. What can I do as an investor to help the movie get made or help publicize it to reach more people? We love this question. So we feel that the people who are going to be most excited about this movie are going to fall into probably one of four groups, but there are many reasons why somebody would be interested. The main ones are people who care about the environment and understand that part of addressing the climate crisis is having more people understand that there is a crisis and understand some of the complicated nuances of the climate challenges that we're facing. Litter is actually a really huge issue for the environment, and it goes beyond just not looking good. It actually has litter in the natural environment has a way of preventing other organisms from growing where that litter is left. We've all seen pictures of wildlife being strangled or eating plastic and suffocating from that. There's a lot of negative impacts of litter, and one of our biggest goals is to spread the message about this topic. People who love independent film are hopefully going to be really interested in this project. Last year, we were very involved with the WGA and the actors strikes. I am the vice chair of the Asian American Writers Committee at the WGA and was very actively organizing pickets to support unions and writers' rights. But during that process, one thing that we realized is that the big corporate network and studio models have actually been kind of toxic for both making movies and supporting the people, the creators and the crew members who make them. And so there's kind of a resurgence of interest in independent film right now. And so investing in our film means that there's more ways that artists can participate in the film industry. Horror fans, obviously gonna like this one. As Megan mentioned, there's not a lot of really great women villains. We have a lot of interesting characters, but obviously Madeline, our evil villain, is the one that's going to excite most people. There's not a lot of scary things happening in the woods, but not quite in this way. So also people who want to support women-led businesses, when we were doing the startup incubator last year, we got a lot of comments from people who are just really appreciative that Megan and I were out doing this kind of work in a field that's actually really dominated by men. So if you support climate, independent film, horror, women-led business, or know people who do, just please talk to them about this. Also, when our WeFunder goes public, which will be pretty soon, please share this link with all those people and on your social media and whatever platforms you think are appropriate. If you want to join our email list and our social media and then share those messages and graphics, that would be really helpful. And especially when we have in-person screenings, please make an effort to buy a ticket and attend the screening and invite other people to come to the screenings, because especially those opening weekends are really critical for the success of a film. And finally, if you know anybody who writes about films, like vloggers, bloggers, reporters, you know, whoever, please let them know about this film so that they can be part of our community and also spread the word that way. We have a guest in the audience. Would you like to post any questions that you have? I also have more things that we can talk about too.
I do have one question, and it sounds like when you get the WeFunder running, you'll send it out and it'll be on social media and the like. Will there also be a website that people can go to find that information too?
Right now, our WeFunder page is acting as our website for all the information that you need. You'll see our pitch video that outlines Tracy and I's backgrounds and our mission with the film. And our plans for producing the film and then moving into distribution. There's also, you know, a lot of more information about the success of horror films, and you can do a little bit of a deeper dive into the stats that we have about environmental impact and conversations. So I think right now we have that WeFunder page is sort of acting as our website where you can go and find that information. And then if you have any questions on top of that, of course, we're always here to answer those.
Okay, that's super helpful because I'm not really savvy in terms of, you know, sharing a lot of social media. So being able to share a link or something to direct people to information, it sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. All right. I think the only question that we didn't really discuss in that much detail, I think we're good. Any other things that people want to share?
Open your pockets. Open your wallet.
Yes, I just wanted to say that we mentioned earlier about we have this initial goal of $50,000, and then our greater budget is just under $1 million. The sooner that we get the $50,000, the sooner we get closer to investors potentially getting their money back. Like we mentioned before, film is a high risk. There is a risk of you not getting your investment back. But the sooner we get that $50,000, the sooner we move forward with all the steps that we need to get this started and to get the ball rolling and to get us closer to moving into production in the spring. So if you're feeling, you know, like this is something that you're passionate about and that you can get others passionate about, like please move forward immediately so that we can get this moving. Like the faster we make this movie, the faster you have the potential to make your money back plus some.
Yeah, and also the sooner you invest, the sooner we can make the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna say, Sunil?
And also, there are only 10 available slots to be an extra in the movie for $10,000, and I already took one of them.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I guess, do we want to talk a little bit about any of the other perks before we hop off? You're like, nah.
Well, I think you should talk about them because of my snafu earlier. So
Okay, so just a quick overview. We know you can see this on the website. We talked about $100 level. You get to invest in the film at $100. You get an invitation to participate in a trash pickup with us in person. What? $1,000 investors will get acknowledgement in our credits. If there's a lot of people, let's be honest, these might be like really small credits, but they'll be there. And we'll take screenshots for you. And also
sorry to interrupt you, Tracy. And you get to say that you are a movie producer and you have a credit in a movie and you get an IMDb credit, and it's a big
Oh,
deal.
so these will be actual producer credits, not like special thanks to credits.
These will be credits.
Well, so yeah, so there's different kinds of credits. This
Okay.
is confusing. So these will be credits.
Mm-hmm.
The more people invest, the more special the credits get. So just like how bigger stars get bigger, fancier credits, same thing with investors. So if we go in reverse order, the executive producer is the highest credit you could get. That's 100,000 plus investment. But we also have an associate producer credit, which is a $25,000 investment. All the other investors investing less than 25, they're gonna get acknowledgement. We have not defined exactly what that looks like, and it depends on how many other people we're crediting, because we can only have so many minutes of credits. Thank you for asking that question. $5,000 plus gets an invitation to a private screening for cast and crew. Travel and lodging is not included. So probably we would have this in SoCal so people could have like the Hollywood experience. As Sunil mentioned, we have up to 10 spots for film, for background hiker roles. That's at the 10,000 or more level. And then the last one we didn't mention was for $50,000, investors can get an on-set lunch where we're shooting the film. They're invited to set and get to see how fun and also challenging making a movie in the outdoors can really be. So thank you for listening to our Q&A. Thanks for your interest in this project. If you have any questions, please let us know. Also, WeFunder has a support line at support@wefunder.com, and they're very, very responsive. So any questions you have, they will answer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.